Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. You ready to explore something um, pretty incredible, I think?
I'm definitely ready.
Today we're going to be diving into the world of Kabbalah. And specifically, we're going to be using Iniciación a la Kabbalah as our main source for this deep dive.
Oh, that's a great choice. It's such a rich text full of insights.
I know, and I think it's going to help us really understand not just what Kabbalah is, but also how it's kind of having this resurgence in popularity,
hmm
especially with younger generations who are looking for something a little bit deeper, a little bit more meaningful in their spiritual lives.
It's true. There's something about Kabbalah that speaks to this very modern yearning for a more authentic kind of spirituality.
Right. It's like this ancient wisdom is suddenly really relevant again.
It is. And I think it's because Kabbalah offers this path to genuine transformation and connection, which so many people are craving right now.
Okay. So let's break it down. What is Kabbalah exactly?
Well, Kabbalah literally means receiving or tradition. It's often described as the mystical dimension of Judaism.
Right. So we're talking about delving into those deeper layers of meaning within the Torah and exploring like the mysteries of creation and existence.
Exactly. It's not meant to replace traditional Jewish practice, but to enhance it with a more profound understanding.
It's like discovering this whole secret wing of a library, right? Like all this extra knowledge and depth just waiting to be explored.
I love that analogy. It's about expanding your perspective, seeing the interconnectedness of everything, and connecting with a higher purpose.
Now, our book, Iniciación a la Kabbalah, touches on something pretty interesting. It talks about how this lack of understanding about Kabbalah has actually led to some negative perceptions about it.
It's true, Kabbalah has been kind of shrouded in secrecy and misinformation for centuries, which has created fear and misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's almost like this forbidden fruit effect. The more it's hidden, the more people speculate about it.
Right. Exactly. But when you approach Kabbalah with a genuine desire to learn, what you discover is this incredibly rich and empowering system of wisdom.
Okay, so let's step back in time for a minute. The book highlights Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai as this like pivotal figure in the history of Kabbalah. Who was he and why is he so important?
Well, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai lived in the 2nd century CE, and he's most famous for writing the Zohar, one of the most important texts in Kabbalah.
So the Zohar is like this commentary on the Torah, right? It reveals these hidden meanings and mystical interpretations.
Exactly. It's designed to make the wisdom of Kabbalah accessible, even to those who weren't, advanced scholars.
That's amazing. So it was meant to be shared and understood by a wider audience.
Yeah, and Iniciación a Kabbalah points out something really important about Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's efforts to share these teachings. He actually faced persecution for it.
Oh, wow. So there was resistance to making this wisdom more widely known.
There was. And in some ways, there still is today. But that just goes to show how dedicated he was to spreading this knowledge. He truly believed in its transformative power.
Right. He saw the potential for Kabbalah to really elevate people's spiritual understanding and connection.
Absolutely. And his story reminds us that sometimes the pursuit of truth and wisdom comes with challenges. And it takes courage to share those insights with the world, even when faced with opposition.
Okay, so we've got this mystical system with this deep history, this desire to make profound wisdom accessible. But let's get into the details. What are some of the key concepts that make up the framework of Kabbalah?
One of the most foundational ideas is that of the 10 Sephiroth, these are 10 emanations of divine light.
10 emanations of divine light. Okay, that sounds pretty abstract. How can we visualize this? How do these Sephiroth fit together?
Well, Kabbalah often uses visual representations to make these complex ideas easier to grasp. One of the most well-known is the Tree of Life.
Okay, the Tree of Life. I've heard of that. Can you describe it for our listeners?
Imagine a tree with 10 interconnected spheres or circles, each one representing a Sephirah. At the top is Keter, which represents the crown, the source of all creation. And from there, the energy flows down through the different Sephirah, each with its unique qualities, until it reaches Malkut, the kingdom, which represents our physical world.
Wow, so it's like this cascade of divine energy, creating everything and connecting everything.
Exactly. Each Sephirah represents a different aspect of that divine energy and a different quality that contributes to the whole.
So by studying the Tree of Life, we can kind of understand not only the universe, but also ourselves and where we fit into it all.
Precisely. The Tree of Life can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and spiritual growth.
This is fascinating. Okay, there's one more term I keep hearing connected with Kabbalah. What is this Ein Sof everyone keeps mentioning?
Ein Sof literally means infinity, and it represents the ultimate unknowable source of all existence.
So it's like that ultimate mystery. The source beyond all sources.
Exactly. It's beyond our comprehension, but it's also the source of everything we know and experience.
It's mind-boggling to even try to wrap your head around that.
It is. It really is. But it's also incredibly inspiring to think about.
I know. I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
We are. We've got so much more to explore in the world of Kabbalah.
We do. We've only just begun to dip our toes into this vast and mysterious ocean of wisdom.
And that's the beauty of it. This is a journey of discovery, a lifelong exploration of the spiritual depths of reality.
I'm so ready for that journey. Let's keep diving in.
So, one of the things that really fascinates me about Kabbalah is that it's not just this, theoretical system.
Right. It's not just like heady concepts and mystical diagrams.
Exactly. It offers practical tools for navigating the challenges of everyday life.
I think that's what draws so many people to it, that idea that you can actually apply these teachings to make your life better.
Absolutely. And one of the key concepts here is tzimtzum. It was introduced by Isaac Luria, a prominent Kabbalist from the 16th century.
Wait, Isaac Luria, wasn't he part of that whole golden age of Safe that we talked about earlier?
He was saved in Israel, became this, major center for Kabbalistic study after the expulsion of Jews from Spain, and Luria's teachings really had a profound impact on Kabbalah.
So what exactly is tzimtzum, and how does it connect to our everyday lives?
So tzimtzum, which means contraction or restriction, is the idea that God, in order to create the finite world, had to withdraw or conceal a portion of his infinite light.
Okay, so it's like God had to make room for us by, stepping back a bit.
Exactly. It's like creating a vacuum that our universe could fill. And the implication is that there's still a spark of that divine light within each of us.
Okay, I can see how that's a powerful idea. But how does that translate into practical action?
Well, think about it this way. If God had to create space for the world to exist, then we too can create space in our own lives for growth, for change, for something new to emerge.
Oh, I see. So it's like decluttering our mental and emotional spaces to make room for new possibilities.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that sometimes we need to let go of something in order to create space for something better.
It's like that saying, you can't fill a cup that's already full. You got to empty it first.
Exactly. And Kabbalah provides tools and practices to help us do just that, to identify and release what's no longer serving us, and create space for our own inner light to shine brighter.
Okay, so tzimtzum isn't just this cosmic event. It's also a personal process of transformation. That's pretty powerful.
It is, and it can be a really liberating experience.
So let's talk about some of those tools and practices you mentioned. How can we actually apply Kabbalah to our everyday lives?
Well, one key concept is divakut, which means cleaving to God.
Divakut. Okay, that sounds kind of intense.
Yeah.
What exactly does that entail? Are we talking about hours of meditation in a cave?
Not necessarily. While meditation can be a path to divakut, it can also be cultivated through simple everyday actions. The key is intentionality.
So it's about bringing that awareness of connection, that sense of being connected to something greater into everything we do.
Exactly. It's about finding the sacred in the mundane. When you approach even the most ordinary tasks with presence and awareness, you're practicing divakut.
Can you give me some examples? How can I bring that intentionality into my daily routine?
It can be as simple as paying attention to your breath while washing dishes, expressing gratitude for the food you're eating, or truly listening to a friend without distraction.
So it's about being present and mindful in every moment.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Like you're strengthening a muscle. This ability to see the world through a lens of connection and purpose.
Okay, I like that. So we've got tzimtzum, this idea of creating space, and devakut, the practice of cleaving to something greater. Are there any other key concepts that can help us navigate life's ups and downs?
Well, Kabbalah places a lot of emphasis on the interconnectedness of all things.
Oh, right. I've heard of that. Isn't that related to tikkun olam, repairing the world?
You got it. Tikkun olam is a central tenet of Kabbalah. It's the belief that we have a responsibility to act in ways that bring more healing, harmony, and justice to the world.
So it's not just about personal transformation. It's about recognizing that we're all part of this larger web and we have a role to play in making it better.
Exactly. Every act of kindness, every effort to make a positive difference contributes to Tikkun Olam.
That's such a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels so divided.
It is. It's a reminder that we have the power to choose love over hate, compassion over indifference, and to act in ways that create a more just and harmonious world.
And Kabbalah gives us the tools and the framework to do that.
Exactly. It reminds us that we're not just isolated individuals, but interconnected souls on a journey of growth and transformation.
I love that. This deep dive has been so enlightening already.
Me too. And we're just getting started. We still have so much more to explore.
All right, we are back, and ready to wrap up this incredible deep dive into the world of Kabbalah.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey so far.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we're really starting to see how Kabbalah isn't just this abstract mystical system. It's like a guidebook for living a more meaningful life.
Exactly. And if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, Kabbalah actually offers this vision of a world transformed, a world where we move beyond our limitations and embrace our potential to create real change.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But how do we get there? How do we bridge the gap between where we are now and that more harmonious future?
Well, what's interesting is that Kabbalah doesn't shy away from the challenges we face in the world. It acknowledges the brokenness and actually provides a roadmap for healing and transformation.
So it's not about escaping from the problems, but facing them head on with this new spiritual awareness.
Right, Kabbalah empowers us to become active participants in the process of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world.
We touched on Tikkun Olam before,
Aye.
but can you give us some concrete examples of what it looks like in practice?
Sure, Tikkun Olam can take many forms. It can be as simple as volunteering in your community, supporting a cause you believe in, or even just practicing random acts of kindness.
So it's about taking those lofty spiritual principles and grounding them in real-world action.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that every interaction, every choice we make can either contribute to or detract from the harmony of the world.
This idea of interconnectedness is so powerful. It's like we're all part of this delicate web.
It is. It's like the butterfly effect, right? A small action can have huge ripple effects.
Okay, so if we're supposed to align ourselves with the divine will, how do we actually know what that will is? How do we make sure our actions are actually helping and not making things worse?
Well, Kabbalah teaches that the divine will is expressed through the flow of energy in the universe. It's about seeking balance, harmony, and wholeness.
So it's not about following a rigid set of rules, but more about tapping into that universal flow and acting in ways that promote harmony.
You got it. It's about listening to your intuition.
Yeah.
Acting with compassion and understanding, and striving to make choices that create a more just and loving world.
It's about becoming more sensitive to the energies around us and making choices that align with the greater good.
Exactly. And the more we practice this, the more we develop our spiritual sensitivity.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It really has.
We've covered so much ground.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to leave our listeners with? Any final words of wisdom from the world of Kabbalah?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that Kabbalah isn't just a set of beliefs or practices. It's a way of life.
It's a journey.
It is. It's about cultivating awareness, deepening our connection to something greater than ourselves, and using that understanding to create positive change in the world.
What a beautiful message. It's empowering to think that we all have the power to make a difference.
We do. And the journey of Kabbalah is a lifelong exploration. It's about constantly seeking deeper understanding, refining our actions, and growing in our capacity for love, compassion, and wisdom.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. This has been truly enriching.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to keep exploring the world of Kabbalah. You never know what hidden treasures you might uncover.
Absolutely.
I know.
Keep seeking, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
And on that note, dear listeners, we'll bid you farewell until next time.